Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening. Thank you so much for joining this year's Max Scholarship Reception. We're really excited to host you, and we hope that you enjoy what we have planned for the evening. As housekeeping, please keep all your microphones muted if you are not speaking. Please turn on your camera so that we can have an engaging and in-person feel to this virtual reception. At some point during the evening, we will take a group photo, so we encourage you to turn on your cameras as soon as possible. For some initial introductions, I would like to introduce the core team behind the Max Scholarship Fund program. These individuals have been instrumental to running the scholarships program, and without them, this would not exist. My name is Nahida Sahtout, and together with Sayed, we manage the operations of the scholarship fund. In addition to the team, we have Nashia, who co-leads the Quran recitation competition and hosts the Fireside Chat, another program that's becoming increasingly popular at Max. Stay tuned for more engaging Fireside Chats coming soon. Our finance team, Nasik, Shabazz, and Zarka. These three individuals support the team in all finance-related inquiries, and without them, your tuition monies would not be paid out. Lastly, for shout-outs and intros, we can't forget about the tech and marketing team. This year, our team of developers worked on making the application portal even better. So a quick shout-out to Abdullah, Taha, Kareem, Sunyoyo, Manor, and Sarah. The last four spent a significant amount of time updating the Max Scholarship Fund website to make it appear as it is today. And of course, our marketing team, Mariam, Bashira, Yamina, and Yumna. We truly couldn't bring to life all of these incredible wins without your marketing skills, designs, and creativity. Thank you for dealing with all of our last-minute requests and making everything look 1,000 times better with your magic touch.
Before we officially begin, we would like to start the evening with a beautiful Quran recitation. It is my pleasure to introduce Hamza Ali, who is also the 2024 Toronto Hifz Academy Scholarship for Hifz winners. Hamza Ali started his academic career with a BSc in Psychology, Neuroscience, and Behavior from McMaster University, and then devoted 3 years to studying Islamic sciences in the GTA. A recognized Qari, Hamza completed the Quran memorization at 15 and has led Taraweeh prayers in the region for 12 years. After his undergrad, he co-founded a full-time Hifz school program at Masjid Wan, which now educates over 60 students. Currently, Hamza is pursuing a master's in psychotherapy and spiritual care at the University of Toronto. His future goals include advancing his Islamic scholarship and promoting culturally sensitive psychotherapeutic services to the Muslim community, as well as advocating for guidance, counseling in all Hifz schools across Toronto. Hamza, please proceed.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Can you just hear me fine?
Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا هو الذي يصلي عليكم وملائكته ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور وكان بالمؤمنين رحيما تحيتهم يوم يلقونه سلام وأعد لهم أجرا كريما يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا وبشر المؤمنين بأن لهم من الله فضلا كبيرا ولا تطع الكافرين والمنافقين ودع أذاهم وتوكل على الله وكفى بالله وكيلا آمنت بالله صدق الله مولانا العظيم.
Thank you so much, Hamza, for that beautiful recitation. Now, we are pleased to introduce our presenting sponsor, Pallet Velo, a full-service law firm practicing in the area of business law, commercial, litigation, commercial real estate, construction, employment, labor insurance, defense, and wills, estates, and trust. Pallet Velo has been recognized by its peer as a top 10 Ontario regional law firm in consecutive biannual surveys by Canadian Lawyer Magazine and as a Globe and Mail's Canada's Best Law Firm in 2023 and 2024. With such an impressive array of accolades at Pallet Velo, it's time to hear from someone who truly embodies the spirit of their success. Please welcome Mujir Muniruddin, a key partner at the firm, to delve deeper into their work and his role at the firm. Over to you, Mujir.
Thank you so much, Sayyid. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm Mujir Muniruddin, as introduced. I'm here on behalf of our law firm, Pallet Velo LLP. And on behalf of the firm, I'd like to start by thanking Max for having us and for continuing to work with us in our critical work in the community. As you may know, just a few months ago, we also sponsored a Max Entrepreneur Series event. And the theme here really is investing in the next generation of leaders in the community. And really, that's what everybody here is. The Canadian Muslim community of tomorrow, the sub-ummah that's going to, inshallah, move Canada forward to greater and loftier heights, inshallah. Now, addressing our youth here for a second in the audience, I bring this up because over the course of your careers, a major goal you should really take on is ultimately aligning yourself with organizations that either share in your values or allow you to do your work. While this won't come immediately, of course, you'll have to earn that right. Make it your goal to be the best in your craft so that the best organizations will open their doors to you and give you the platform to not only better yourself, but also to better the organization, all the while advancing the best interests of society and the world in the process, inshallah. Now, the reason why this is so incredibly relevant here is because we all carry a very important obligation. And if I can turn your attention to the end of Surah Al-An'am, where Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ وَرَفَعَ بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِي مَا آتَاكُمْ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ سَرِيعُ الْعِقَابِ وَإِنَّهُ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. He is the one who has placed you as successors on the earth and elevated some of you in rank over others so that he may test you with what he has given you. Surely your Lord is swift in punishment, but he is certainly all-forgiving, most merciful. Now, when you take a look at those ayahs, a few things really stand out. For one, it starts off, to me, where God indicates that he has created us as khala'if al-ard, or khalifas, as is commonly known. In Arabic, a khalifa is someone who carries the baton forward in a sacred duty. For example, like Joshua alayhi salam, Yusha bin Nun was the successor to Moses, Musa alayhi salam, and how Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, radiyallahu anhum jami'an, were successors to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in this case, God has created the world and he's leaving you in charge as his Khalifa. So think about that for a second. Then he goes into status and rank. He notes that he's given some a higher status than others. Now, everyone here, if you take a look around, everyone brings an element to the Ummah and to Canada that others simply cannot. Some are excellent at math. Some are STEM geniuses. Maybe you're here because you're inclined towards working hard and pushing back and pushing forward in critical situations where others would simply buckle and give up. But what do all those things really have in common? It's that they're God-given. In some cases, you have those attributes because maybe your genetics, maybe you have them because your parents taught you well, or because you had amazing teachers, or because of some random opportunities that you took advantage of to learn and to excel and to get you to where you are today. Most importantly, all those things were squarely outside your control. You did not and could not have chosen them. They are God-given. Now, he gave you those to elevate your status and your rank and to put you in a position to excel and to move the world forward as his Khalifa, as his Khulafa. But that's where this dovetails into the final point, which is accountability. Almost immediately after the ayah talks about Khilafa and rank and status, it turns sharply to test and punishment. Why? It's because God wants us to emphasize and understand the accountability that comes with this rank and the privilege and the talent that he's given to everybody here in attendance. So as you continue to move and shake, inshallah, and as you continue to climb the corporate life, career ladder, whatever it is, never forget your duty and your obligation here to be a Khalifa to the earth, not just Islam, not just Canada, but quite literally the world, al-ard. With that, I'd like to congratulate all the finalists, the winners, their families, and even the communities for today. It truly takes a village. May this day continue to be a further source of inspiration for everybody going forward, inshallah. Thank you so much and enjoy the event, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mujib, for sharing that such an inspirational talk. We are again immensely grateful for the support from corporations like yours that help advance MSF's mission. Before we begin recognizing our scholarship winners, we wanted to provide a brief overview of Max and MSF. To talk about Max, we would like to introduce Azhar, the driving force behind everything that Max does. Azhar Zafar is an FCA, and is currently Director of Investment Risk at OP Trust, one of Canada's largest pension funds. In his spare time, not sure how he finds any, he is a founder and head cheerleader of one of Canada's fastest growing minority-based not-for-profit organization, the Muslim Award for Excellence, otherwise known as MAX, which has over 750 active volunteers across Canada. In addition, he was recruited by the chair of the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation Investment Committee to help manage its $500 million endowment and serve as a member of the investment committee. Azhar, thanks for all that you do. Please take this virtual mic and share a few words.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay, great. Before I get started, I'm going to actually be a little more interactive. So, number one, congratulations to all of you scholarship winners. Hope, inshallah, you are able to use your talents and whatever you end up accomplishing in a manner that serves you, your family, and humanity, inshallah. First off, just curious, what program, like what university are folks in? Just scream it out loud, put it in the chat. Just want to get to know the audience a little more. Master, Waterloo, Health Sci, New York Stern, nice. Saskatchewan, Guelph, McGill, Calgary, Waterloo, Inge, Simon Fraser. Wow, so we got people from all over, it looks like. Western Alberta, a lot of Western people. Life Science McMaster, Waterloo. I need more Waterloo people because that's where I went. Just kidding. Good. Waterloo, Berkeley, nice. York, Saskatchewan. Cool. So it's a nice diversity, Alberta. Cool. I used to live in Edmonton. So it's nice to see the diversity of programs still coming through. So thank you for that. My second question, and you guys can again scream it out or put it in the chat, is thinking of yourself 15 years from now or 20 years from now, in, you know, and call it 3 words or 4 words. What is it you want to be? Is it CEO of a Fortune 500? Is it surgeon? Is it a lawyer? Just put it in there. Just really curious of what everyone sees for themselves in 15 to 20 years from now. So I see business owner, oncologist, partner at a law firm, doctor, vet. Cool, vet.
Hi.
Physician,
Our
judge.
parents had to sit inside or
Retired. It's retired in 15 years. Okay, that's one of our scholarship sponsors. That's why. Biotech founder, senior engineer. Yeah, just keep it coming. I'm really curious. Humanitarian worker, lead software engineer, clinician scientist, brain surgeon or ortho, professor of neuroscience, Cool. Keep it coming. This is really interesting to see. Consultant, just looking back up. So cool. Like, so obviously, alhamdulillah, you guys are all talented, positive disruptor, leading engineer. Really nice to see. So thank you guys for sharing it. Feel free to continue to share it. I'll read it after I speak. But, you know, when we started Max, we started after my dad passed away in 2015. We were put together a team late 15, and then I ran a scholarship process, awards process, and then a gala. That was first March 24th, 2016. So 8.5 years ago was really the start and first ever thing that Max did. And alhamdulillah, like where it is today, took a lot of hard work. You know, Mujir is part of the original crew that helped us put it together. And then we have others come after, like Nahida, Saeed, etc. And as Mujir said, you know, it does take a village. And, you know, when we grew up, obviously we didn't have this. So number one, I'd say if you can, and it's hard when you don't have that frame of reference, but don't take for granted what Max is and alhamdulillah, what our community together has built. We are lucky, and it takes a lot of time in our like you guys have listed all your professions. All of us are one of those professions, and then in our spare time, we sacrifice for Max. And alhamdulillah, you know, there were times where like we don't know if we can continue doing this or not continue doing it, but alhamdulillah, we eventually figured out a way to make it sustainable. So inshallah, keep us in your doors that we are able to continue to do this for the community, because we're basically almost all of us are volunteers. So just keep that in mind. And, you know, I want to take you on a journey of what Max is. And then at the end of this, I want you guys to think about, so every year we ask our volunteers to commit, or sorry, our scholarship winners to commit 50 hours. This year, we're going to do a little bit of a different thing, because now we have more volunteers than we need. People have seen the benefits of becoming part of Max, how it helps them, whether it's, you know, get into med school, get a job at a law firm, help with their business they want to start. Like when someone, you know, someone put here, take my company 9 figures. So we even have a Max Shark Tank. We have that whole network set up now. So people now really see the benefit and how this can benefit them career, professionally, entrepreneurially, etc. I don't even know if entrepreneurially is a word, but anyway. So this year, we're only going to take 10 people, and we're going to make it a bit competitive. So 10 of the scholarship winners are going to be able to volunteer with us. And we're looking for a very specific type of people. So I think we're looking for 2 folks in Montreal. So I know a few of our winners are from Montreal, so we're expanding there even more so than our current 3 programs there. We're looking for computer programmer / website developer for a 4th project we have on the tech side. We're looking for a couple of grant leads. We're looking for a couple of mentorship volunteers, a couple on the HR side, but we're only going to take 10. So Nahida and the team will send out the process of how it'll work. But I want you now to think about, you know, as I tell you about Max and what we do, at the end of my speech or during it, if you guys are interested in a certain area and you want to volunteer, feel free to put it on the chat, but then please do apply, because it's going to be more of a competitive process once the details are sent to you. So now let me take you on the journey of Max. So Saeed, I can't see, I can see the slide deck now. Yeah. So this is our team. This is our leads and co-leads, and I kind of run it. You know, I've come from the investment banking, private equity, CA world, so I kind of run it like an investment bank. We have our managing director. So the left is all of our operations. The right is our pillars. Kind of the buck stops at the managing directors. They build their team beneath them, but essentially the pillars are our 16 programs, whether it's mentorship, awards, gala, scholarships, entrepreneurship, women leadership, etc. You'll hear about that. I encourage all of you who have LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn. Just type in Muslims Achieving Excellence. That's where we have the most followers. I think it's 20,000 plus, whereas Instagram, Facebook, it's more like 3,000-4,000. But every event we have is put on LinkedIn, so you can be part of that whole network. So again, Muslims Achieving Excellence on LinkedIn. The left is our operations. So 6 main operations call our infrastructure to support our programs. So if you're ever thinking of building a company or building an organization, you definitely need that operational side. So we have 6 main ones: marketing, finance, HR, sponsorships, technology, and then event day logistics. They're essentially the infrastructure we provide to all of our 16 pillars in programming. If we go to the next slide, and again, all of these folks are professional, whether they're lawyers like Mujir's a partner, whether they're investment bankers, whether they're surgeons, whether they're working consulting. Like, alhamdulillah, we've built an amazing network of people, and we have 50 co-leads and the volunteers under them. This is our purpose. I think most of you know this, and that's our mission. Inshallah, you know, and we build bridges with those outside our community, but really our focus is on enabling a lot empowerment and leadership in our community. Next slide, please. So the journey with Max is really 3-pronged. Students and early career professionals, so most of you will fall under that. The mid and late career professionals, And then the senior execs like Naved, who's like, I want to be retired in 15 years. So if you think about, there's a home for you depending which stage what you are in life, and the programs are associated with that. And you'll see that in the next slide. So scholarships, professional excellence, recognition, and then the next slide kind of breaks it down. So you see the students, really, you have the scholarship fund, Quran recitation competition, fireside chats. It's individuals in our community primarily, like Naved is going to speak, and others who are willing to, donate 3, 5, 10 thou of their own money, and that essentially sponsors your scholarships. We have one corporation, I think Barrick, and one other, but it's primarily individuals for the scholarships. Max, the rest of Max is sponsored by corporates. Then the next professional excellence is that, mid to late career professionals. We have all these things, whether it's training for boards, investment referral network, which is our Max Shark Tank. We actually have a whole team that builds out an episode now once a month. We're like, in 3 to 5 years, we'd love that to progress to where we're kind of followed like the Shark Tank across the world, and really are trying to enable entrepreneurship and building new technologies, new products within the Muslim world. We have a CEO panel series. Max Pitch. So Nadeem runs Max Pitch. That's the person talking on our chat. So he's ex-Salesforce exec, came out of Waterloo Math, and has done a great job building that out. Mentorship program, Women Leadership. We have a big event coming up October 3rd on Women in STEM at Torrey's, who's one of our sponsors, the big law firm downtown. So again, if you follow us on LinkedIn, you'll see all this stuff. And you can, if you're able to come, that'll be great. If not, no big deal. Inshallah, we'll see you one day. We have disruptive tech, Max networking. And then the last piece that I talked about, the recognition, where it's Gala will hold once every 3-4 years. Because we have 20 to 30 smaller, more impactful events, we only do the Gala every 3 to 4 years. But we have those smaller, impactful events. Probably have 30 of them this year, whether it's CEO panel, women leadership, disruptive tech, networking, etc. So let's move on to the next slide. And this is kind of our impact, just a summary of what we've been able to do to date. Alhamdulillah, again, we're blessed to have created something like this, and it's from, God enabling us to do this. The mentorship pairs, it's funny because a lot of mentees come to us and say, you guys don't realize what you've done for me. We hear stories of people who've gotten jobs through their mentor-mentee pairs, or really got good advice that enabled them to progress, or if even outside their profession in life. So that's that. You can obviously, you guys can all read that. I think the big part what Nadeem is cheering on is that Max Shark Tank, enabling more entrepreneurship. Like, we've seen a big rise in that in the last year in our own community, from all people, whether they're lawyers, consultants, people in my profession, doctors, surgeons. A lot of folks are now like, hey, we need to build stuff and build our own technologies, just like when Islam was at its peak, 700 to 1400 AD. We're feeling that spirit come back. So it's really nice to see. Next slide, please. And those are our sponsors on the corporate side. So as I mentioned, individuals, primarily they do the scholarships. These corporations and foundations sponsor the rest of Max outside scholarships. They've seen us really work hard and build, and slowly, it didn't come easy. We started with an idea on paper, and KPMG was the first, and IRC were our first sponsors. Took 8 years to get to this point. So alhamdulillah, it's nice to see. And what's the next slide, or is that it for me? And if that's it, okay, great. So we're going to move on. But before I do that, again, we kind of brought up the areas to volunteer in. Feel free to let us know. It's really nice to see the universities and the professions and what you guys are thinking of. My one piece of advice would be, think big. Like, if you want to do something crazy or insane that, that's like, you want to create the next engine, or you want to create the next robotic arm for something, or you want to create a surgical instrument or a consulting firm, whatever it is, you have a community willing to support you in that now and help you with advice. So with that, thank you very much for listening to me, and hope you enjoy the rest of this event. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Azhar. We're now pleased to invite Naveed Mansouri, one of our newest scholarship sponsor, to share his experience. Naveed Mansouri is a Dialogue Health Technologies and Chief Financial Officer. Since joining the company in 2019, he led its IPO on the TSX in 2020 and its subsequent acquisition by Sun Life in 2023. During his tenure, he has also played an integral role in bringing Dialogue to sustainable profitability, Prior to joining Dialogue, Naveed was Chief Financial Officer at Just for Laughs and has held roles in finance, marketing, and business transformations at Rogers Media and Bell Canada. Mr. Mansouri is a chartered professional accountant, starting his career at Deloitte after earning a Bachelor of Commerce from McGill University. Naveed, we'd love to hear more about the impact MSF has had on you and what it means to have this program in place for the Muslim community. Over to you, Naveed.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to attend tonight. It is an honor for me to be part of this special event. I attended the gala last year in person, and I was greatly impressed by the quality of the recipients. And I have to say, I'm equally impressed by the caliber of all the recipients tonight. A little bit about me. My parents immigrated to Canada when I was an infant. I think I was 5 months old. And they worked tremendously hard, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that me and my siblings had the best opportunities. And one thing they always did was they prioritized education and always ensured that I had the best possible education and balancing that with my Islamic values. And their hard work enabled me to not only complete my education, but the values and the work ethic they instilled in me further allowed me to leverage my education and have a successful career going on 30 years now. So for me, being able to participate today and sponsor scholarships to help encourage the next generation of leaders, it's a small thing that I can do to help give back and pave the way forward for the next generation. I myself have 3 daughters who are pursuing both undergraduate and graduate degrees. And I'm tremendously proud of them as they become strong Muslim women and leaders. And I want to do my part to make sure that the next generation that's on this call, particularly young women, have the best opportunities to pursue higher education and lead meaningful and impactful lives. So once again, thank you for having me today. It's an honor, and congratulations to all the recipients, and best of luck to all of you. I look forward to learning about all your successes for many, many years to come. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Naveed, for those inspiring words. We actually do have a few minutes for a short, quick Q&A period. So from the audience, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat or feel free to raise your hand. I can get started in the meantime. So we always, I guess, talk about, the value of network and mentors. I'm just curious, Naveed, how important has networking and mentorship been in your career? And could you offer any advice to Muslim students, male and female, how they can seek out and establish valuable mentorships, especially in the finance industry?
That's a great question. I mean, networking is one of those things that's it's a lifelong investment. I think building and nurturing your networks can help you out throughout your career. And one piece of advice that I would give you, and this is probably a mistake I made earlier on in my career and learned from it, is that networking is something that you have to do on an ongoing basis and not just when you need it. So building those connections, maintaining those connections, even if you don't need something right away, is always more beneficial than not speaking to somebody for 4 or 5 years and then reaching out to them out of the blue when you need a referral. So it's one of those things that you have to cultivate those relationships, and even it doesn't have to be very time consuming. Like it could just be a simple email or a text every few months to say how you're doing, just staying connected to people, and not being shy to reach out and ask for help. I think professionals like myself and a lot of people are in these shoes where we have been fortunate by the grace of Allah to be where we are today, and we all most of us like to give back and help the next generation. So you'll be surprised by the amount of time you get from individuals. All it takes is for you to reach out. But the one piece of advice I would give is, starting at an early age, build those networks, and more importantly, foster those networks as you progress in your career, because you never know when you might need a connection to help you out with anything that you might need.
Absolutely. I think the key message is definitely to foster. Like, I think I've seen a lot of times where like it's easy to start a relationship, but definitely as we move forward, we cannot foster that or continue for the longer period of time. There is another question that we have from Mariana. She's asking, what is your advice on maintaining your values while being career driven in an environment that often challenges them?
That is a great question, and I would say that we live in a country like Canada where there's a lot of I mean, Canada is probably the most multicultural country in the world, and we're fortunate to have a society that understands and respects various needs and beliefs. It wasn't necessarily the case when I was growing up or when I was starting my career, but I think that has changed a lot. Having said that, I would not go as far to say that it is no longer a challenge. It is still a challenge. But I would say that my experience says that if you're true to yourself and you're authentic, I think you will get all the flexibility that you need. Like for me, it's a non-negotiable. Like no matter how busy I am, I take 2-3 hours on a Friday afternoon. I make sure I go for my Jummah prayers. My assistant knows that not to schedule meetings, but even when I was more junior, like people knew that and respected that. So and that's just one little example. So I think don't be shy to express what your beliefs are. I think at the end of the day, what people care about is, do you get your work done? Especially now coming out of COVID, where people realize that you can get your work done no matter where you are. You don't have to necessarily do it between 9 and 5. Some people have different working hours. Some people work start late and finish late. Some people work on weekends. So there's a lot of flexibility now. I would say be yourself, be your authentic self, and don't be shy to express your needs, but also propose solutions to say, you know what, I need to take 2 hours on Friday, but I can make it up at this time, or things like that. I think open and transparency will 99% of the time will get you the result that you want.
Absolutely. I see Azhar has unmuted. Azhar, do you have a question?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick on a few of these, not pick on, but like I noticed a few of the scholarship winners put what they want to do 10 to 15 years from now. So I'm gonna ask a few of them to expand on it a bit if they don't mind. So first one I'm gonna ask is Yusuf, microchip design. Tell me about that.
So I guess I kind of developed an early interest in kind of designing electrical circuits. So as I progressed through university, I'm kind of moving towards kind of doing that embedded systems design. And like from that, I kind of got really interested into designing the microchips and kind of the CPUs that go inside of our computers. So I definitely think that I want to push my career maybe towards a side where I'm kind of designing those embedded systems inside of those microchips, as like you can take something as C code, something I like to enjoy, and kind of translate that into electronic circuitry. Like I really find that translation process really interesting. So that's definitely something I would want to pursue in my career. It's just so cool to see it happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let Nadeem or I know if we can help in any way as you go along in your career. Another person I want to pick on is Sarwa Masalme, renewable energy engineer. Tell me about that. You gotta unmute.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, my reception's not the best, but I've always just been interested in the environment, and now that I've entered engineering, I'm still a student, but I've always wanted to work in like something that would make renewable energy more accessible. So nothing specific yet, but
Well, that's awesome. And then Gibran, biotech founder. Tell me about that. If you're around.
Yeah, so I guess I was really interested in becoming a researcher. Didn't really know which field I wanted to go into. Found out a few years ago that it was biology. And I never really thought I would want to become like a business person. I thought it was just going to be academia all the way. But yeah, I don't know. I've surrounded myself with a lot more people who are more entrepreneurial. And yeah, I feel like if I really want to pursue my ideas and my passion, I think the only way to do that is to go down the founder route and yeah, build something myself, basically.
yeah, we need more of those in our, other communities. You see it where they have a lot of founder entrepreneurs and they really build up and empower their communities. Inshallah, it'd be nice to see some folks in our community do that as well. Sarah, so I know you volunteered with us. Sarah Terrier, veterinarian. That's I mean, I love dogs, even though I don't have one. The Islam thing gets in my way, but love to hear about your goals there.
Yeah, kind of cliche, but I really like animals, so that kind of seems natural to me. But a lot of the knowledge that we know from human medicine is from animals, so I think it'd be really fun to kind of figure out a way to incorporate Islamic views into that as well and further expand on the overall field of science. So yeah, also Muslims and Black people are super underrepresented in that field, so it'd be nice to get some people in there. Yeah.
Inshallah, that'll be awesome. And then Lean, humanitarian worker in healthcare, inshallah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of stems from my childhood just because I am Syrian, so that kind of is the reason behind it and just because of everything happening in the world. And so because I love science and I want to work in the healthcare field, I just really want to give back in the future. That's kind of my long-term goal. So yeah, that's just kind of like the thought process behind it, inshallah.
Okay, cool. Well, no, thanks for that. I'm being told I've taken too much time, so I'll hand it back to Syed. But thank you so much, all of you. It's great to hear.
Thank you, sir. Great stories. And thank you once again, Naveed, for sharing your insight and journey. We're very grateful to have you as a 2024 sponsor. Next, if I can ask Nahida to share the presentation. Yeah. So now we will share some incredible Max Scholarship Fund statistics and a bit about what the success has looked like so far and what specifically went down this year. So for those who don't know, Max Scholarship has one mission, and that is to award well-rounded students who are eager to make an impact in their communities, learn, and create. Those who are awarded a Max Scholarship are students who have contributed to their communities, achieved above average marks, and are recognized by their peers. These students are just overall incredible young students who will go on to do great things. Max has been awarding scholarships to youth since 2016. With the help and support of all of our sponsors, we have contributed over $1.8 million worth of scholarships to 450 students' tuition. Last year, we were lucky to award scholarships to 80 students. And this year, mashallah, we have awarded 99 students with scholarships worth $356,000. A look into the gender breakdown of our scholars, we see a 53 to 43% split with females taking the majority representation. Although all students, regardless of gender, are inspirational and impressive, we all know the struggles and underrepresentation of women, more so Muslim women. We're extremely proud to see that Max is helping break through the glass ceiling on this front.
All right,
Diverse.
I
Yeah, sorry.
can do this, Zaid, just to give you a break. Diversity and inclusion is extremely important for us here at Max and Max Scholarship. And it's great to see this come to life when we look at the different ethnic groups of our students. We also have representation from all around the world and across many cities in Canada. I won't read all of this out, but please take a few minutes to glance over the slide and feel free to give your city a shout out in the chat box. Next, we have a snapshot view of all the different scholarship categories we offered this year. From left to right, the high school categories included All-Star, Arts, Humanities, Social Sciences, Law, and Education, Bridge TO scholarships, HIBS Scholar, Newcomers and Refugees to Canada, Persons with Disabilities, and STEM. For post-secondary students, we continue to offer the scholarships in all the previously mentioned categories, plus empowering communities and community leadership, business and finance, medicine and dentistry, and careers and skills development. It's truly amazing to see the diverse applications we receive across these categories. From business, science, arts, and even life circumstances, our scholarships cater to a wide range of students.
And last but certainly not least, as we provide an overview of MSF, we cannot forget about all the incredible sponsors who have donated not just their money, but also their time, energy, and effort. Please glance through this list of sponsors for this year. We have some that are returning 7 years in a row, others who are brand new, and others who have continued to spread the word and have their friends and family come forward and support Max Scholarship. It is truly remarkable to see so many of the names here. We thank each and every one of you for your generosity and continued support and for making all of this come true. So thank you.
All right. So this is a real pleasure for me. We're pleased to introduce to you our keynote speaker, who is also my friend and sister for the evening. As many of you embark on your academic journeys, you may relate to many of the things that Dr. Muna Min-Ara talks about. Reflect on how this applies to you and consider her extraordinary resilience. Dr. Min-Ara's story is a testament to her power of perseverance and adaptability in overcoming challenges. Now let's learn more about her remarkable journey and the lessons we can draw from her experience. Just going to give you a little bit of a bio before I hand it over to Muna. Dr. Muna Min-Ara is a blind assistant professor of bioengineering at Northeastern University, advocate and travel vlogger, lives by the maximum that vision is more than sight. As a computational chemist, Muna's research explores pulmonary surfactants, which is a substance composed of lipids and proteins on the air-liquid interface of the lungs. Raised in the Boston area with her two siblings by Lebanese immigrant parents, Muna was diagnosed with macular degeneration and cone-rod dystrophy at age 7. Muna obtained her undergraduate degree at Wellesley College, her doctoral degree in chemistry at the University of Florida, and held a postdoctoral position at the University of Minnesota for 4 years before coming home to Boston as a faculty member at Northeastern University. At Northeastern, Muna's Combine, which stands for Computational Modeling for Biosurface Engineering Laboratory, utilizes computational chemistry to study interactions that occur at biological interfaces. As a professor, Muna is deeply passionate about making scientific materials accessible to blind and low vision individuals, especially students. To further her goal of bringing awareness to low vision independent travelers and thinkers, Muna documents her adventures globe-trotting the world using public transportation in her travel vlogging YouTube series, Planes, Trains, and Canes. And I encourage everyone to go and check those out. So, Muna, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, first of all, Nahida, thank you so much for that intro. I don't know what's left for me to talk about, but I think I will maybe begin at the beginning. So I hope everybody's doing well. And I was invited today to speak about my experience and share with you wisdom. We'll see how well I do. So as you all heard, I am blind. I only can see light. I was diagnosed when I was 7 years old, and I always tell everybody that I've always had a love for science. But we live in a world in which we think that people who are blind shouldn't be scientists. So I grew up in the public school systems here in Massachusetts, and that love that I had for science didn't change. So I continued, and subhanAllah, it was like, I don't know, it was like event after event of me kind of realizing that even though nobody really expected me to do much, that I still just wanted to continue learning science. And there were times in which I was like put in lower level classes because I was blind. And I don't know, I just took it one day at a time and, asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me, and my curiosity kind of pushed through. Eventually I ended up going to undergrad, and that was like a whole new world. I was the first ever blind individual to graduate from Wellesley College with a science degree. Wellesley's been around since 1875, and I genuinely didn't know what I was going to do. But subhanAllah, my curiosity towards chemistry kind of increased, but also my curiosity about my background. So I actually ended up doing a double major in chemistry and Middle Eastern studies, because I really deeply believe that we all need to know our roots. And it was like 50-50 for me if I wanted to go into a PhD in history or a PhD in chemistry, but I found chemistry to be a little bit more interesting. I went off to grad school, and I think throughout my entire journey, subhanAllah, I had this deep sense of internalized ableism. What is ableism? Ableism is when you have a preconceived notion. It's kind of like racism and other isms, right? It's when you have a negative preconceived notion of somebody because of their disability. And subhanAllah, I had that towards myself. I had always felt like I was lacking, right? That something was wrong, that I was broken, that I had to overcome my blindness. And it wasn't until I was actually applying for jobs to be a postdoc until I got actually a job offer. I didn't even have applied to this place. It was University of Minnesota, and it was this advisor, J. Elias Seatman, actually reached out to me and was like, I see you're looking for a job. I heard you're looking for a job. You have a job in my lab if you want it. I didn't even apply, subhanAllah. So I remember having an interview with him, and I did everything you're not supposed to do in an interview, okay? I basically sat down with this professor, and I was like, why do you want me in your lab? Do you know that I'm blind? Do you know that I'm slow? Do you know that, and I just list all of my flaws or what I perceive, And he goes, yes, but because you are blind, you're going to solve problems that nobody else has solved. And he said it so nonchalantly, subhanAllah. And he said it so matter-of-factly. And I remember being blown away and being like, Ya Allah, I have to now go to Minnesota. It's so cold in Minnesota, you guys. I went from living in Florida to Minnesota. And I went on this journey of realizing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all of us differently, and that we are meant to be different. And that if science was truly going to progress, if society was truly going to progress, we need to have all different types of people involved in problem solving. And it took me a while to realize that our religion actually, doesn't see a flaw in somebody who has a disability. It's Allah's creation. And subhanAllah, I continued on that journey, and it actually is probably one of the main reasons why I was able to eventually get a job as an assistant professor in bioengineering. So just to let you all know a little bit, so I'm a tenure track professor. So what that means is there's different types of professorships, but tenure track means I have to not only teach, but have to have my own innovative research ideas that I have to almost defend when I apply to these jobs. I have to kind of prove to the committee that my research idea is not just good enough, but it will bring money to the university. So it's probably one of the, alhamdulillah, it's one of the most prestigious professorship tracks that you can get. And I don't think I would have really been able to get to that point if I really didn't believe to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there was khair in how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created me, right? That not just khair just from I accept, but I tell a story of how I was studying this protein, I was doing computational modeling on this protein. And because I couldn't see the data like my sighted peers, I actually had to develop my own technique. And because of that technique, I discovered attributes about this protein that my sighted peers missed. There was an advantage to actually being blind at that moment. So alhamdulillah, I get this job, but I also along the way learned two things that I want to share to all of you, which is always work with ikhlas so that you can have barakah in what you do. So what does that mean? So ikhlas is you work to completion. You aim to do well. I'm not saying that you're such a perfectionist that it stops you from doing it. No, I'm saying that you work with thoroughness. And when you approach everything in your life with a level of thoroughness, then that will allow you to have barakah. What is barakah? Barakah is when 1 + 1 is more than 2, right? It's the concept of, let's say you and your friend are hungry and all you had is 1 date. There's more barakah with you splitting that date with a friend, splitting whatever food it is with a friend, than just you eating it or them eating it, right? That's barakah. Barakah is when there is more khair, there's goodness that happens in the work that you do. So you should aim to always have barakah in your time, which means you should always be honest with your time. So if you're working in a job, make sure that you are working those minutes you're getting paid for, right? You should always also have barakah in your money. Make sure your money's halal. Make sure that you're doing good with your money, right? And those are things that are going to really help you go far. Because at the end of the day, you and I, we can work hard. But really, at the end of the day, we need to have our intentions clear and our connections close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that's what's going to really make us help us make an impact in this world. And may Allah make all of us, every single one of us on this call, do khair in this world, have a positive impact on this world. Okay, so with that, I think my time is up. I don't know if there's a Q&A, but thank you all for listening. And I'm really honored to be here today. And I'm really honored to know that there's a new generation of Muslims that are trying to go out in the world and make a positive impact.
Thank you, Muna. That's amazing. You know what? I'm a little biased because Muna is someone who I look up to. She is incredible. Her resilience and perseverance, and she's really a role model for women, for Muslim girls, and she really aspires and does what she can to continue her advocacy work in this aspect. I really encourage everyone to go on YouTube and look up her show. It's actually pretty cool. Trains, Planes, and Cranes.
Planes, trains, and canes. So it's like all the
Canes,
modes
sorry,
that I
yes.
use, right? I use a plane, and then I also use a train, and then I use my cane because I'm blind. So yeah, planes, trains, and canes. I also really encourage, there's you can check out my research website. It's minkarahcombinelab.com. That's MINKARA combine, COMBINE, lab.com. And then monaminkara.com also has everything, from blind scientist tools to my research, everything is on there too.
Well, you already have some subscribers, Muna. We do have time for a short question and answer period. So if anyone has any questions or anything like that, please put them in the chat. Maybe I'll start off by saying, as you were growing up, trying to navigate life being blind or low vision, visually impaired, what sort of support systems were really instrumental to making sure you get to where you are now?
So that's a really good question, and there's many layers to it. So first of all, my family, thank you to my parents for everything they did, and honestly to my to my community, but also the fact that we had the ADA. It was by law, so we had grounds to be able to advocate for the things that I needed when we figured out that that's how it works. So that also took a little bit of time. Sometimes it's really important to kind of, as immigrants or kids of immigrants, we might not necessarily understand all the systems, so it's really good to take time to understand them. But yeah, just the ADA, advocating for an equitable access to education was also instrumental.
Yeah, I know Canada and the US are a little different in terms of what supports we have. But all to say, there are supports available to ensure that you are successful. And what Max and MSF offers is one of those support systems. So hopefully take advantage of that. Muna, I had another question. Sayed shared your YouTube video in the chat. So now that you are in a place where you are, how do you find people approach you? I mean, you're a professor, you are visually impaired, you are doing research in science nonetheless, which is like something I've always been told not to do if you're visually impaired. How do you separate yourself from, I am a researcher, I'm not just someone who's visually impaired doing research? If that makes sense.
Your questions are so deep. Okay. So this is a very deep question. So first of all, it is hard. And so sometimes like, you know, I don't usually actually share my story publicly unless I believe in the cause or they're paying me, to be completely honest. You know, I'm like, you want me to talk? I'll tell you about my research. So that's one thing, right? It's a very deliberate decision who I spend time and like share my story with, especially like, you know, with people that I don't know. I think that's really important. And then I really like, you know, I try to put myself in the environment as much as I can to present about my research, because it's really, that's where my passion is. I feel like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like, that's the path that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put for me. And I love it. And I'm really happy to be a scientist. Of course, I believe in the advocacy, so I do that too. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just, it's a situation by situation.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I wanted to share some comments that we got in the chat, just because I know you might not be able to read them right away.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I don't have the voiceover on right now.
yeah, so we have a comment that says, this isn't a question, but just wanted to say your story is beautiful and inspiring, Dr. Minara. Thank you for sharing. Another one, your story is a true testament of enlightenment of mind and heart with light of passion and knowledge. Thank you for all the great
so
work that
beautiful.
you do.
Wow, so beautiful. These comments are, yeah, okay.
Nadim, you wrote Muskoka. I actually don't know that reference, so I don't know if you want to jump on and
For
explain that
everybody
reference,
listening,
Nadim.
you also have to make sure your ego doesn't grow.
And then another comment, what a beautiful story. SubhanAllah, you're a true inspiration to all of us. Okay. I'm not gonna put you on the spot anymore, Mana. I think I've asked you enough deep questions.
If anybody from the audience wants to ask, I'm totally open to. If there's time, I don't know if there.
If there's another comment that says, thank you for drawing attention to legislation empowering community, and for sharing your wisdom and experiences. You're truly remarkable and your faith is inspiring. I think everyone is still starstruck, Muna, just listening to your story, but I know that you're, oh, sorry, there is a missed question. Hold on.
I'd love to hear their voice if they want to.
If anyone has a voice, if anyone has a question, feel free to open your microphones. I can speak forever about Muna's achievements in science and research.
Yeah,
and
yeah, listen.
the remarkable things that she's doing and the recognitions that she's getting. But I am biased, as I said. She's a friend. Just another comment who mentions, I have a family member with a disability and we often face comments that underestimate his abilities. Thank you so much for the hope and inspiration you bring, especially to families and individuals with disabilities.
That's a very common problem. Yeah.
All right. I think everyone, like I said,
Hey, I have a question. I couldn't find the hand raising function, so I just
go ahead, yeah.
So, Mona, first of all, I want to apologize. I actually just joined like 5 minutes ago. I had to go run out and do something. My wife has been watching. So my question might be something that's already been answered, but I got involved with DEI back in around 2012, 2013 when I finished my master. So my master was in immigration, looking at the minority impact of security policies, and it's impacting othering Muslims and people that resemble the Muslim identity. So when I finished my master's, I worked in Pan Am Games around diversity, inclusion, accessibility. And I know at that time AODA was a big thing, 2010 AODA policy legislation. So if you look at the last decade, do you feel that there's been a lot of progress in terms of making sure things are more inclusive for a person that are visually impaired like yourself? Or do you think there's a lot of work remaining and there's been a lot of roadblocks in the legislative frameworks that have been implemented?
Okay, so I can only speak from the American perspective because I'm here. So I don't know about the Canadian perspective, but okay, so yes, we've made progress. In the past decade, we've definitely made some progress. I mean, just even 10 years ago, even when people talked about diversity, like disability wasn't even on the list. They would just mention, you know, gender diversity and racial diversity, but like people just forgot about the disabled community. Now it's brought up, it's discussed. I mean, I'm working on a project where we're working on making literature, scientific literature, accessible. So like working on making sure like figures are alt texted and stuff like that. So I'm working with the editor-in-chief of Science. And so like people are, we're in the midst of it. I would say we're making progress. We still have a way to go.
All right. Omar, you had a question. You disappeared.
Oh, one more thing I want to say, just on a not a legislative level, but for example, one of the things I'm doing is I have a page called Blind Scientist Tools, and so I've listed all the tools I've ever used as a blind scientist and some that we're developing right now to make science accessible. So, and we were like on NPR, that's the national public radio here, which was amazing, you know. So it's getting attention, alhamdulillah.
Okay, I know Omar had a question. I don't know if he's having tech issues, but we did have one question in the chat, Muna.
Sure.
There's a student that has a question on STEM curriculum for the blind. She had the opportunity to go onto your website and wanted to know if she's able to connect with you to understand adaptability on different settings as she's
Sure.
working on
Actually,
education for out of school.
So let me tell you a little bit about the blind STEM curriculum. It's actually was a cool project we implemented in Lebanon. And it was a low cost, accessible, like, so all the activities could be done by a blind student safely. And we had like Lebanese, Syrian, and Palestinian kids that were blind doing this curriculum. It's 2 weeks. It was materials you can find around the home, you know, like nothing fancy. We're still in the midst of copywriting it. I really need to copyright it so I can start sharing it. But yeah, it has just all sorts of different activities, from growing your own plants to building bridges that are engineeringly sound to making your own record player or fizzy lemonade, or you know what I mean, discussing endothermic exothermic reactions. Like it's all over, like it covers a lot of different types of science.
I think Zainab, you should be able to find Muna's details on her website, her email. Feel free to email her and she'll be
Yeah, you
able
can
to
contact me through my website, actually. Yeah.
Okay, one last question. I think Omar, you have your hand up.
Yeah, do you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about the mic. I don't know. I just opened my mic and they kicked me out of the meeting. But mashallah, Muna, your story is very inspiring. I just had a quick question. How do you deal with imposter syndrome when you just go into the room and sometimes you feel like people have an advantage over you? How do you deal with that?
Oh my God. Okay, this is a very deep question, very good question. So recognize that most people have imposter syndrome. Okay, that's the first thing. And then you realize that you go through cycles, right? Sometimes you're like, I'm doing good, alhamdulillah, you know, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, like what? Like, all these people are ahead of me. But then recognize that you just need to focus on your own journey, and you need to you just have to bear with it. And like, I don't know, for me, sometimes the best way to deal with my imposter syndrome is just like keep at working or try to keep at understanding whatever it is that I'm dealing with, or, you know, I'll give you a very concrete example. Okay, let's make it concrete. So it wasn't until this year in which I actually got grants for my research. So I had been a professor here at Northeastern for 4 years and had gotten 0 grants. So my imposter syndrome was like really high. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, like, can I actually make it? Like, am I going to make it as a scientist? Like, I need to bring in the money, like all of that. So subhanAllah, I was like, you know what? You need to get grants, Mona. You need to clear off everything and just focus on getting grants. So last summer, for like 4 months, I told everybody that I was grounded. Literally, like, I didn't fly anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. And every day, other than Saturday and Sunday, so every day of the week, like every work day, I woke up every day. And then I read Surah Al-Baqarah. Okay? I read Surah Al-Baqarah so that I could have barakah in my time. Surah Al-Baqarah eases things for you. And that's a commitment, right? So I read Surah Al-Baqarah. And then every day I walked to work. Every day I worked on it. And I just worked on it. I didn't even know if I'd succeeded, but I have to do it. I did not know another blind person who was a scientist who had actually achieved being able to write grants and got them. So I did that. And subhanAllah, and it's a long time for you to hear back on grants. Like 8 months later. So I'm just gonna tell you, now I have I have 2 grants that are one of the most prestigious grants I can get. Alhamdulillah, like I now, like together, they're almost worth $3 million. So I hope that answers your question.
No, that's great. Thank you,
It's a great
Mona.
story because it has a great ending. But
Thank you.
I think what helped is honestly, like, you just have to let go and you just have to keep on trying. Sometimes it works and sometimes it didn't. And that was my 2nd or 3rd time trying on these grants.
Lots of well wishes for you in the comment section. And I know we do have one more question, but we are running behind. So thank you, Mona, for being here. And you are my personal hero, so I can talk about you. But what we'll do now, and I hope you can stay for us for a little while, we're going to ask you all to turn on your cameras because we're going to take screenshots. I'm going to ask Sayed to take screenshots of who's here. So we're going to give you about 10-15 seconds to turn on your camera. If you please do. We don't want just names on the screens. And then you can go back to turning it off. Sayed, when you're ready, I think at least the first screen is like full of people.
Yeah, let me do it.
So please turn on your camera. Sayed will be taking snapshots of everyone. And when you're ready, Sayed, when you're starting, let them know. And then when you're done, let us know.
All right, I'm starting now. There's 5 pages, so give me 1 second. Everyone's making really good poses. Okay.
Oh, that's so cute, Anthony and Felicia. Keep smiling.
Just end the fold, like I'm just on the last 2 pages. If I can ask everyone to turn on their camera as well.
Yeah, give it 10 seconds. If they don't, they don't. It's okay.
Yeah, I've taken all the screenshots. So.
All right, great. So we're going to continue on our program. Thank you, Mona. Thank you, Mona, for your lovely keynote speech. Thank you, Naveed, for your scholarship sponsor speech. We're really grateful that both of you were able to join us. And once again, to our presenting sponsor, Palette Velo. We're going to now continue. Yes, you will. We can share the screenshots with you, no problem. We're also going to be sharing the recording post-reception, so stay tuned for that. So we'll continue on our presentation, and this is the exciting part where we're going to announce all of the winners and hear from some of our scholarship winners as well.
Thank you, Nahida. Now on to some announcements. So Mac's fourth Quran recitation competition took place during Ramadan early this year, where we welcomed 143 eligible entries from across Canada. It included 4 categories from primary, elementary, high school, college, university, and each category had a specific surah and verses participants were expected to recite, and a group of judges assessed the tajweed, accuracy, melody, and enthusiasm of the participant submission. Finalists were narrowed down and proceeded to the voting round of the competition, in which the community had the opportunity to vote for their favorite recitation in each category. And finally, we awarded 3 winners in each of the category, which included 12 prizes worth $8,000 that were dedicated towards our winner school or Quran tuition. So under the primary school category, we had Motaz Mir as our male winner. Hana Amina was the female winner. And finally, Abdul Malik won People's Choice. Moving on to the elementary and middle school category, we had Marva Duali winning the first place, Adam Saleh winning the second place, and finally, Ira Khan winning the People's Choice Award. And under the high school CGAP category, we had Amjad Hussain and Muhammad Maiman. Both of them tied for the first place, while Asma Noman won the People's Choice. And finally, in the last category of university college students, we had a similar first place tie between Maria Lamghari and Ozair Musaji, while Omar Farooq Sani was the winner of the People's Choice. We are pleased to congratulate all the winners of the Quran competition this year.
All right. We're going to move on to hearing from the first few students. First up, we're pleased to have Shiza Shranaya and Musa Mus. And apologies if I misspelled or mispronounced your names. Both of these were winners of the Al Safa Foods Canada Limited All-Star Scholarship. And just a little bit of a bio before I hand it over to them. For the last 3 years, Shiza has been working on medical imaging research, analyzing brain tumors and MRI scans. She's been doing this on her own, by the way. After spending hours on end reading papers and self-learning computer vision skills from first principles, she built novel grading and segmentation architectures and worked on a probabilistic brain tumor mapping project with Dr. Andres Lozanzo, the most cited neurosurgeon in the world. For this work, Shiza has been awarded with numerous prestigious awards and accolades, including the 2024 Canada NCWIT winner for Aspirations and Young AI Role Model of the Year 2023 award in North America Awards. Recently, she has been working on electromechanical engineering products, CAD modeling, and diving into theoretical textbooks. This fall, Shiza will be attending University of Waterloo for an honors Bachelor of Science in Mechatronics Engineering and is currently building projects in the nanotech and robotics area, specifically building a 3D printed controllable prosthetic hand via EMG, arm muscle data, and an adaptive exoskeleton that helps relieve knee pain while walking for rehabilitation purposes. Now, her fellow colleague, also going into the University of Waterloo in chemical engineering this fall, is Musa. Currently, he works as a camp leader at Adventure for Change, a nonprofit organization in Waterloo. For the last 2 months, he has worked with hundreds of kids in science, sports, music, and art. He feels great giving back to his own community. It has brought him much peace and tranquility in the last 2 months. He's thankful for his community for helping him achieve his goal at Waterloo in engineering. Ever since his family moved to Waterloo, it has been his dream. He believes that by achieving his own dreams, it can be an inspiration for people around him to go and chase their own. He is thankful for the Mac Scholarships Committee, as the scholarship can boost his hopes of success in the next chapter of his life. So with that, I will turn it over to, I believe, maybe let's start with Musa first, and then we'll end with Shiza.
All right, can everyone hear me? Or can everyone hear me? Or
yeah, we're good.
Good. All right. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Firstly, I'd like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me the ability to be here. And I must say it's been quite a journey of life. And I want to highlight two very, very special individuals in my life who I want to talk about and how it ties to the scholarship and why we're here today. So I want you guys to paint a picture in your head, right? Imagine a couple months before, maybe you could say May 2024, an 18-year-old Muslim boy stressing about his exams, yet his lovely, selfless, and most courageous mother keeps bugging him about the scholarship she's heard from an auntie's WhatsApp group chat. And you'd imagine the son is so focused on his exams. He's like, yeah, I'll do this later. But in reality, he's not actually contemplating on the opportunities he's given. I'm going to stay on that topic, and we're going to go to another special individual, which is his father. His father was someone who spent all his life growing up the son of a camel herder. These camel herders would move from point A to point B, just in search of places where there's rain. Yet in his life, going through everything that he went through, he still decided to give back to his community through raising money for his local masjid. I'm looking at his father, who was also a camel herder. And what he would do is he would serve his army. For his country, he'd act as a soldier. So something that I've learned from these incredible individuals is the ability to give back to your community does not make you less wealthy. It doesn't. It reminds me of the verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. I do not ask you for any reward, but my reward is only from Allah. And if there's any group of people that I've seen in my life that implements that more, it is Max. And the beautiful thing about it is Max is not asking for any rewards. Max is asking you to make a positive impact for this ummah. And that is something that, inshallah, through the program that I'm in, chemical engineering at the University of Waterloo, I hope that I could do something similar. I hope I can be like Max. I hope that I can inspire Muslim youth one day in my community, in Lakeshore or Waterloo region, or in the community that I grew up in, Toronto. Any Muslim, if you can change one Muslim's life, then you get the rewards for it. And I feel like that is something that Max has reminded me of. Reminded me of the values of my grandparents and my parents. So from that, I'd like to say Jazakumullah khairan to each and every single one of you, from the members of Max, and as well as congratulations to each of the scholarship winners. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Musa. Shiza, if you'd like to jump right in.
Yeah, Musa, that was a great speech. I don't know how to follow that up, but yeah, I'm really grateful for this award, and it's been a long journey for me too. I was born in Pakistan, was always surrounded by a lot of medical issues, where initially I thought to be a doctor, like basically my brown parents told me, should be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. And at that time, medicine is something that I was really passionate about. So the doctor was writing the books for me. And as I started to learn about technology, which is really trending right now, I started to understand that there's so much that we can do in not only developed countries, but also developing countries if we can incentivize the technologies. And so I started working passionately towards this goal of trying to impact a lot of people and give back to my community, not only here in Toronto and now Waterloo since I'm here, but also in Pakistan back home. So as my intro said, I worked on a lot of medical imaging research, essentially looked at computer vision, which gives computers the ability to see, and looked at MRI scans specifically, so analyzing them and seeing how you can gain insights to be able to diagnose patients more effectively, because there's a lot of misdiagnosis errors. And, you know, as I'm growing, I'm learning more about what I want to do in life. So now I'm more on the side of mechanical, which is why I'm in Waterloo. And if any of you are in Waterloo, feel free to reach out, because I'd love to meet more people in the community. But now I'm thinking more about how I can use hardware for rehabilitation purposes, prosthetic hands, things like that. And I guess it kind of just shows that journeys can change. You're never have to be fixated on one thing. And that's just the beauty of life. And winning this scholarship especially is holding a great deal to me because it reflects the fact that because of my hard work and community service and ambition, these things are celebrated in society and especially in the Muslim community, where even in the Quran, it always talks about how we should give back to society. And so when I first heard about Max, similar to Musa, my dad kept on telling me during exam season to apply for the scholarship as well. You kind of get lost with the speed of time, but I took some time to apply to the scholarship, and it was a really good time for me to look back in retrospect and see how far I've come because of the people that I'm around. So I'm really grateful for that. And I love giving back to my community, especially at my own mosque and mentoring a lot of younger generation, because I think what's really missing there is having some people to look up to and say that this is possible. This is something that I can do. The only thing that's stopping me is my thinking. And that was the most valuable lesson that I had. And thankfully, I had mentors that could lead me along the way. So I hope to give back to community in that sense. And this honestly just reinforces my belief that the Muslim community is driving positive change and benefiting society in so many ways. And yeah, thank you so much for the award. And congratulations to everyone.
What a beautiful message, Musa and Shiza. Thank you for speaking with us. MashaAllah, both of you are so well spoken. We will now move to the part that all of us have been waiting. We'll take a moment and recognize the first set of scholarship winners for the evening. We wish this was in person so that we can see you all walk across the stage. But for now, this wonderful slideshow should do the trick. Congratulations again to all of you. And my apologies in advance if I mispronounce any names, but I'll try my best. Yeah. So I'll read from the left to right. So first of all, we have Hamza Haq, winner of Dr. Ike Ahmed University Entrance Scholarship. Zainab Alawar, winner of an Aspiring Social Impact Leader Scholarship. Jazeb Tariq, winner of Habib Khan Memorial Scholarship. Ziad Bazan, winner of Walid and Dina Suleiman All-Star Scholarship. And finally, Mariana Al-Mubayyad, winner of Yamna Afzal Memorial Max All-Star Scholarship. We have Shiza Salman Charania, winner of Al Safa Foods Canada Limited All-Star Scholarship. Musa Moose, winner of Al Safa Foods Canada All-Star Scholarship. And we have Munib Niazi and Omar Safiullah and Yusra Sayed, all winners of Al Safa Food Canada Limited All-Star Scholarship. Congratulations to all of you. Moving on, we have Behzad Wasim, winner of Asma and Parvez Akhtar All-Star Scholarship. Aman Arif, winner of Muhammad Khalilullah and Wahida Begum Scholarship. Amna Rahman, winner of General All-Star Scholarship. And finally, Fawaz Kamali Siddiqui, winner of Muslim Influencer Scholarship. Next, we have Russell Labash, winner of Yahya and Fatma Ansar Scholarship. Muhammad Gangat, winner of Mehdi and Rashida Ansar Scholarship. Umar Ibrahim, winner of Hassan Ali and Roshan Banu Sajidina Scholarship. Ashab Naveed, winner of Muhammad Foundation Scholarship for Outstanding Achievement. And Armish Shayan, winner of Muhammad Foundation Scholarship for Outstanding Achievement as well. Next, we have Aisha El-Jandi and Omar Ashraf Fauda, both winners for Al Shafa Food Canada Scholarship are newcomers and refugees. And the next three winners also from the same scholarship, we have Amani Omar, Yusuf Abadallah, and Bibi Azami. All three of them are winners of Al Safa Food Canada Scholarship for newcomers and refugees.
All right. Thanks so much, Sayed. Next up, we're pleased to bring on the virtual stage the 2024 recipient of the Max Scholarship for Aspiring STEM Professionals, Toby Kamaro. Now, just a little bit of a bio before we hand the microphone off. People who know Toby best would describe her as caring, determined, dynamic, and unintentionally hilarious. On an average day, you might catch her searching up random concepts online, as she is an avid learner who loves soaking up knowledge. Toby's academic journey led her to graduate from Carleton University with a degree in biomedical and mechanical engineering. Now she's a rising second-year medical student at Virginia Commonwealth University School of Medicine. She aspires to become a surgeon, merging her engineering background with medicine to address healthcare accessibility challenges in underdeveloped regions. Beyond her academic pursuits, Toby engages in various interests, fearlessly experimenting with new recipes, even if they don't always turn out as expected. She finds joy in discovering the commonalities and distinctions of different cities she explores, constantly seeking new traveling experiences. Additionally, she firmly believes in the power of mentorship, representation, and service, empowering others through tutoring and mentoring her peers along their academic journey. This became her passion when she realized that it only takes one person to believe in you to change the trajectory of your life and the lives of those you encounter thereafter. Toby, the stage is yours.
Thank you for the introduction. Salam everyone and good evening. Distinguished guests, sponsors, and fellow scholars. Congratulations on winning this scholarship. It is truly an honor to be here tonight as a recipient of the Max Scholarship. And first and foremost, I want to express my deep gratitude to the Max Foundation for the scholarship, as well as the scholarship committee and the generous sponsors who have made this moment possible for all of us here today. Winning the scholarship is more than financial support. It is a validation of the hard work and resilience that has really shaped my journey. It is a symbol of trust in my potential and, more importantly, a reminder that I am not alone in my aspirations. I think Max is doing such a great job actively building communities rooted in the values of leadership, service, and social responsibility, and just fostering academic excellence and mentorship that creates opportunities for individuals like myself that may not have the resources and support otherwise. It is truly a lifeline for students like myself and opening doors to opportunities that allow us to grow and to pursue our passions with confidence. For me, this, like I said, it's not only about the recognition, but also like a motivator to continue pushing forward, because sometimes it can really be demoralizing, and all I have to think about are the people who really truly believe in me. And like sometimes it's organizations like Max that like really don't really know me as a person, but just by reading my story or reading my essay believe in me, just like everyone else that won one of the scholarships. It really inspires me to stay committed to my goal on my journey of becoming a physician. And most importantly, a Black Muslim woman in this space. There's like not really a lot of us, and sometimes it feels really isolating. My journey has not been one that has been easy. Like it was mentioned in the bio, I started off in engineering with the idea that I one day wanted to go into medicine and kind of combine both backgrounds to drive innovative changes. This want came from where I grew up. I was born in Nigeria and I moved to Canada when I was 12 years old. And with that, I saw kind of like a transition of what the healthcare landscape looked like in Canada and back home. And I thought that the divide there was technology, and not only technology created by people who are just great innovators, but also physician innovators who have a deeper knowledge of what people need and are able to translate that need into things that are kind of concrete. And that really just led me to think about the impact. Now, what I've actually been working on more is the impact of AI and artificial intelligence in driving philanthropy and driving the healthcare space, because that's extremely new and emerging in this space. And a lot of people really don't know how that is going to really penetrate the healthcare field. And I believe that it can have a lot of change. It can be used as a tool to produce a lot of change, not only in all aspects of the world, but I think in most especially underserved populations, like in developing countries, or for instance, I can think about just in Canada, the indigenous communities that have lack of access, not only due to just the remoteness of their communities, but just the fact that there's not that many resources being poured into their well-being. So I think that technology can kind of merge that gap if used correctly. Just moving on a little bit, outside of school, I have found a lot of meaning in service and mentorship, and I truly believe in that, just because I saw how much of in which that could have had an impact in my journey. Just being able to see other people doing the same thing that I was doing kind of motivated me to keep on going. I am really passionate about global health initiatives and like trying my best to contribute to that. Currently, I am the global health chair for the American Medical Student Association on a global level. And that is like one of the only student-run associations that kind of represent the wants and the needs and the interests of medical students all across North America. So that's kind of a passion project for me. Just to conclude, when I reflect on what I am most proud of in my journey, and it is the resilience that have really brought me to this point. It was not easy by any means, but just being able to keep pushing forward despite like disappointments or failures along the way has kind of been what I'm most proud of. And also the relationships that I've formed along the way. Sometimes when you are on a journey that is not the straightest path, you form relationships and you learn things, and that's kind of what I am the most proud of. And in closing, I just want to express my heartfelt thanks to the Max Foundation and all of those who contributed, who actively contribute to the mission. The work that you do changes people's lives, and it creates a ripple effect that kind of carries on. And I also promise to carry this forward with the spirit of generosity, service, and leadership that the scholarship represents. Thank you.
Thank you, Toby, for sharing your story, and all the best to you, Shazia and Musa, as you guys take the next step in your academic journey. If I can ask everyone at the moment to, if you haven't done it already, please change your display name to have either winner or sponsor in your display name, as this will help us when we are creating the breakout rooms. Now, let's take a moment to celebrate the second set of scholarship winners this year. To all the winners, congratulations. You should be very proud of yourself and your accomplishments. So for the business and finance postgraduate winners, we have Hobab Amin, winner of Moise Qassam Finance Scholarship, Amine Al-Verfali, winner of Habib Canadian Bank Scholarship, and Mariam Khidr, winner of Uddin and Hassan Scholarship for Leadership in Business. For newcomers and refugees to Canada, we have Ahmad Azdu, winner of Adam Ilyas and Nina Lawns Scholarship, Hiba bin Masood, winner of Ashraf Ahmad Sayed Scholarship, Ines Gizi, winner of Root to Roots Scholarship, and Abdu Bura, winner of Haq and Najib Family Scholarship. And another set of newcomers and refugees to Canada winner, we have Aisha Olonade, winner of Mariam Memorial Scholarship for newcomers. We have Safa Bashir, winner of Nomani Family Merit Scholarship, and Leen Jundi, winner of Syrian Canadian Foundation Thrive Scholarship. Moving on to persons with disabilities category, we have Maha Aziz, winner of Walid and Dina Suleiman All-Star Scholarship for Learning Disabilities, and Maria Bangash, winner of Hasanat Scholarship for Persons with Disabilities. For Hifz Scholar, we have Rana Ismail, winner of Toronto Hifz Academy Scholarship, and we have Hamza Ali, winner of, again, Toronto Hifz Academy Scholarship. And in Empowering Communities and Community Leadership category, we have Dania Qasim, winner of Sir Muhammad Zafrullah Khan Communities Leadership Scholarship. Fahia Najib, winner of Pearson Khan Award for Women's Empowerment. Shabir Ahmed Sani, winner of Team Jabbar Realtor to Move You Forward Scholarship. And finally, Aisha Khan, winner of Nasir Hassan Community Leader Scholarship. For Bridge TO scholarships, we have Nadeem Kasimov, Muhammad Sharif, Muhammad Faiz Ansari, Fiza Hassan, Natalia Saqib, and finally Wali Mia, winner of Bridge TO Community Scholarships.
All right. Before we go on to our last set of winners, we're going to introduce onto the virtual stage Maha and Maria. And before we introduce them, just a little bit of a bio on these two individuals. Maria was only 3 years old when she was officially diagnosed with autism, which affects her learning. As she has gotten older, she has overcome obstacles and has proven time and time again that just because someone is disabled doesn't make them not being able to do something incredible. Even though she had to work harder than most of her neurotypical peers, her perseverance and resilience made her achieve excellent marks in high school. She got involved in many school activities, such as joining her bowling team, badminton team, and theater production. She's going into her first year at York University to major in psychology, Bachelor of Arts, and a minor in marketing once she's in her second year. Her dream is to one day own an art business and return to an Islamic school to expand her knowledge of Islam. Maria is an avid advocate for the full inclusion of persons with disabilities and the protection of human rights. Maria is the Education and Outreach Coordinator at Smile Canada Support Services, a Canadian charity supporting racialized children and youth with disabilities and their families. Currently, Maria is pursuing a degree in Human Rights and Equity Studies at York University. Oh, look at that. Both of you are from York University. I didn't even realize. She presents across Canada at universities, community events, public and private schools, and at disability and health conferences. Through her education and advocacy efforts, Maria addresses the health disparities faced by racialized communities and persons with disabilities, and the need for physical and social accessibility. Amongst her many accomplishments, Maria was featured on the CBC show You Can't Ask That, a show in which disability and stigma was discussed. Through her lived experiences, professional expertise, and social media advocacy, Maria has had a significant impact creating safer spaces in the healthcare and school service sector. All right, so over to you. Maria, I'm not sure who's Maha, probably, if you would like to start, and then hand it over to Maria.
Sure, why not? Thank you for having me. And also, like, I would like to add, like, it's such a coincidence that both me and Maria go to York University when we both found out. So, so I found Max scholarships when one day I was looking for scholarships offered to Muslim students. It ranged from the All-Star scholarships for doctor, engineering, to those with disabilities. The scholarship meant a lot to me, not just financially to pay my tuition, but to hopefully, like, inshallah, like, have like a one step to achieving my dream of becoming a teacher and starting my business. I wanted to be someone who can be a great mentor to those who are needed most, just like my mentors who I look up to in supporting me, which alhamdulillah led me to where I am today. We've come a long way as a community of individuals, now recognizing, supporting, and including individuals with disabilities, whether physical or developmental. As someone who is neurodivergent, it wasn't always easy, but I always put my head up high and put my best foot forward, whether attending for social events, or studying for university. To me, resilience is not just about enduring hardship, but about the lessons you've learned from your obstacles. Today, let's not only celebrate who won Max Scholars, but to those who wanted to make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Maha. Okay, Maria, if you'd like to go ahead.
Is everyone is everyone able to hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Maria. I'm 23 years old and I'm currently in my final year at York University pursuing a bachelor's in human rights and equity studies. I'm honored tonight to be receiving this scholarship as not only will it support my studies, but allow me to focus on my passion for creating positive change. This award is a reminder of the strong, supportive, and giving community I'm fortunate to be a part of. It reminds me that when we lift each other up, we all succeed together. I first heard about Max through a mentor who always encouraged me to push forward, despite the challenges I faced with my physical disability. This mentor has pushed me and guided me through so much, to the point where now, alhamdulillah, and inshallah next week, I'll be working with the United Nations on pushing for equal rights for people with disabilities. As I look ahead, I aspire to work in the non-for-profit sector, using my lived experiences to uplift others who may feel marginalized or unseen. My journey has shown me the importance of representation, and I hope to inspire others, especially those who may feel limited by their circumstances, to see that there is always strength in our stories. Through my work, I want to be an advocate for those whose voices are often unheard. Outside of my studies and all the social media activism and all the things I love to do, I love working and connecting with my community, whether it's through volunteering or just spending time with the ones I love. It's important to me while I work with the community that I also make time for people that I love and that mean a lot to me. I believe in giving back, not only by working to improve the lives of others, but by also serving as a role model within the Muslim community. I hope that by sharing my story about myself and my physical disability, although it was condensed, I could talk for hours. I hope that inshallah I can inspire others to realize our obstacles don't define us, but our perseverance does. Thank you again for this opportunity and for this scholarship.
That's such a beautiful message. Thank you, Maria and Maha, for sharing your inspiring stories with us. Now, let's continue with the excitement and announce the rest of our scholarship winner. So for post-secondary all-star, from left to right, we have Ayaz ul Haq Sayed, winner of Mamoona Wasi Ahmad Memorial All-Star Scholarship. Lina Al-Qadi, winner of Haider Family All-Star Scholarship. Insia Fatma Musavi, winner of Sajda Khatun Memorial All-Star Scholarship. And finally, Muhammad Taha Hassan, winner of Shamoon Ahsan Memorial All-Star Scholarship. Continuing with the post-secondary all-star, we have Hashir Ahmad, winner of Nusar Ahmad All-Star Scholarship. Mahruk Tanweer, winner of Baraka All-Star Scholarship. Yusuf Musa, winner of Kazmi Memorial Scholarship. And finally, Aziz Abdul Ghafoor, winner of General All-Star Scholarship. Next, we have Fatma Yamna Hassan Rushdi, winner of Uddin and Hassan Scholarship for Women. Nashia Hussain, winner of Masuma Halim and Shahid Sharafuddin Scholarship. And Fatma Ahmad, winner of Ghazala Paracha Mahmood Memorial All-Star Scholarship. Moving on to the post-secondary STEM, first we have Zainab Khan, winner of Naimat and Riaz Ahmad and Family Scholarship. Ibrahim Shahzad Ghani and Iman Mehri, both winner of Sajjad Ibrahim Family Scholarship. And finally, Basil Al-Omari, winner of Bultifat Perseverance Scholarship. Next, we have Omar Abu Shariban, winner of Barak Scholarship for Mining, Engineering, or Geology. We have Sumaya Salik, winner of Salahuddin and Rehana Malik Scholarship. Hishmat Sahak, winner of Yusuf Family Scholarship for Science and Engineering. And K.M. Ratel Hassan, winner of MSF Mechanical Engineering Scholarship. Continuing in the post-secondary STEM category, we have Momin Azdu, winner of Log X Group Scholarship for Computer Science. Safia Khalil, winner of Madhya Salman Memorial Scholarship. Sarah Masalme, winner of MSF Scholarship for Women in Mechanical Engineering. And Toby Kamru, winner of MEC Scholarship for Aspiring STEM Professionals. We have Gibran Qadri, winner of Syed and Fatma Warsi Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Abdullah Muhammad Saleh Sabo, winner of Liu Family Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Aqsa Zahid, winner of Salam Psychology Scholarship for Mental Health. And Sarah Tarir, winner of MSF Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Moving on to the category of medicine and dentistry, starting with Dua Yahya, winner of Roxana Abbas Medical Dentistry Scholarship for Women. We have Ali Butt and Amin Kaab, both winner of Dr. Bushra Qureshi Medicine Dentistry Scholarship. We have Amira Ghamila Khalaf, winner of Dr. Shiraz and Aisha Suleiman Scholarship for Women in Medicine, and Sehbat Muhammad, winner of MSF Scholarship for Women in Medicine and Dentistry. Next, we have winners from Arts, Humanities, Social Sciences, Law, and Education winners. We are starting with Amara Amir, winner of Rashida Abdullah Scholarship for Aspiring Women Teachers. We have Madina Tabesh, winner of Al Gohari Scholarship for Muslim Women in Law. We have Furial Hussain, winner of Waqar Hanif Bhatti Law Scholarship. Darya Majlisi, winner of Ansari Fund Scholarship for the Arts. And Hussain Khan, winner of Muslim in Media Award. Congratulations to all of you.
All right. So we're almost nearing the end of our reception and an opportunity for sponsors and winners to come together and network in breakout rooms. It's been truly an honor to hear from so many inspirational students tonight, and we still have one more just following this. To all the students who won scholarships this year, congratulations once again. We hope that you will continue to inspire one another and remain connected. And following the reception, we will be setting a WhatsApp chat for winners of this year so that you remain connected and so that we can provide announcements as appropriate. I know I speak for the community when I say that we are proud of all of your achievements and what's yet to come for you. So before we continue to our last student speaker, I wanted to remind you again to put sponsor if you are a sponsor next to your name, and winner if you are a winner next to your name. As we continue with the remaining few slides in our last speaker, Saeed is going to be setting up the breakout rooms. So this would really, really help him to see who's here and who's not and who we can assign breakout rooms. So our final speaker of the day. I'm pleased to introduce to you Fiza Hassan, winner of the Breach TO Community Scholarship. She's courageous enough to share a poem that she's written on education, resilience, and the pursuit of dreams. From a young age, Fiza's passion for understanding crimes sparked an interest in the flaws within legal systems and their societal impact. Witnessing the impact of biases such as the tendency to label Muslims as terrorists in post 9/11 contexts while attributing similar crimes by non-Muslims to mental illness has fueled her commitment to advocacy. Fiza acknowledges the influence of media and societal stereotypes in legal proceedings, highlighting the need for research and intervention to mitigate biases in court trials. Her dedication extends to volunteering, such as at the Calgary Courthouse, where she provided emotional and legal information to individuals without lawyers navigating the legal system. Fiza's goal is to work with the Innocence Project, that's amazing, to address wrongful convictions, particularly within Muslim communities affected by negative stereotypes and prejudice against Islam. Currently, she is pursuing a master's in psychology and law and is driven by a profound love for research and its scientific method, recognizing its role in advancing knowledge and fostering evidence-based practices. She considers education a transformative pathway to achieving one's full potential and aims to become an academic researcher and professor. Inspired by her mother's beliefs, she envisions a future where her research and academic work contribute to a more equitable and inclusive legal system, empowering individuals, especially minorities, to thrive and foster positively in society. Because as her mother always says, a just and compassionate world is built one person at a time. So Fizza, we're actually going to share her poem on the screen. Apologies, that was my mistake. So that as she is reciting her poem, you'll be able to sort of read along. Fizza, if you'd like to start, and then I can.
Sounds good. Thank you for the introduction. It's my honor to present my poem. It's titled Paper Stars. And now, without further ado, in a paper world, there is a paper night where silence slithers through the twilight. And like the real world, the sky surrenders to the beauty of the stars. Paper stars folded from a single sheet with soft creases and sharp edges once found their purpose as balls of hot gases. Still, in this paper world, there are paper problems much like the real world. Paper shadows swallow dreams, and infant paper stars are taught to hide the folds of their hope, eternally bound by scripted norms and elusive impossibilities. They crumple under the weight of their paper fear, not wanting to be cut by failure. Because a paper star can only shine so bright before a paper black hole erases its light. But it takes only one paper star with dreams that dance across a paper universe to whisper it's possible. A sweep of bright light is enough to scatter the clusters of shadows. Paper doubt wears out its glow, yet the paper star stands unmoved, making everyone wonder, how can you still twinkle? The paper star, ancient and unfaltering, beams. I have shined since my first fold. I have bent and creased, but my light guides even the strayed. Paper shadows shift with the hues of time, while paper stars persist. And sometimes it takes a single paper star to change more than a paper world. Thank you. I'll now cover what the poem is about. So, for some background, I'm currently pursuing a master's in law and psychology to build a career in forensic interviewing, helping marginalized people who have been wrongfully convicted of crimes. So this career goal first took place in my middle school years. So I was very delighted when I was offered acceptance at Simon Fraser University last year to pursue my dreams. But over my first year, I have encountered a series of trials, both personal and academic. And in moments of self-doubt and uncertainty about my path, I find peace in the reminder that my dreams have been cherished far longer than the obstacles I faced. I trust that God has put me exactly where I'm meant to be, guided by a purpose that will withstand the test of time. So today, I wanted to remind you of the same. To me, dreams represent our deepest goals and hopes, driving us forward even in uncertain times. Resilience, on the other hand, is what helps us endure and adapt during challenges. So using my poem, I aim to show that even amidst adversity, a single determined individual or idea, like a paper star, can shine brightly and make a difference. It highlights the resilience of dreams and how navigating challenges while staying true to our aspirations is what truly matters. The paper star metaphor reflects how negative beliefs and fears can stifle ambition, yet the star's persistence and ability to guide others demonstrates the power of unwavering dreams. So if there's one thing I want you to remember from my poem today, that a single dream has the power to ignite great change. So hold on to your dream, no matter how small or how impossible others may say it is, and inshallah, nothing will extinguish its light. Thank you.
Thank you, Fizza, for that wonderful message. We are nearing the end of our reception, but we wanted to share a few wrap up and next steps. So as we mentioned earlier in the evening, we're going to connect you with your sponsor via email, and we encourage you to sort of set up a meeting, either virtually or in person if you're in the same city. They are remarkable individuals who are happy to share their wisdom, their guidance, their experiences and anything else, you know, that you ask them. You've all shared your details with the MSF team, and if you haven't already done so, I believe everyone has. These will be provided, these will be important to help us with paying your tuition and providing tax receipts at the end of the year. We have, at some point in time throughout the rest of this year, and usually we'll do it before the deadline that you've provided or before the end of the year, we will pay your scholarship tuition directly to your university. Then we ask that you invest back into the community by volunteering. One of the conditions of being a winner is that we really expect you to volunteer 50 hours back into the community. It doesn't have to be with Max, it doesn't have to be with Max Scholarship, but there are so many remarkable organizations and initiatives out there that you can take the time to volunteer. And then lastly, we ask that you continue to spread the word about Max and MSF so that others can be awarded for their accomplishments just like yourself. Now, really, the program could not be here without volunteers, sponsors, judges, and markers, all of whom spend endless hours out of their schedules to help support this program and to help ensure that we're able to be transparent, be fair, and be equitable in the process. So a real big, huge thank you to all of these individuals. You're a critical part of the process, and we really couldn't do this without you. We wanted to remind you to stay connected. So the generic email, scholarship@maxscholars.org. Sayed and I monitor that email. Our website is there. You are able to connect through social media, and also Max as well. So onemax.org is the corporate side of is the corporate side organization where there's a lot of events and initiatives that you could benefit from. So with this, before moving on to the breakout rooms, we really want to thank everyone who stayed with us throughout the rest of the night. I know a couple of people had to bounce out just because of commitments, but we're really grateful that you could join us. And I know like it's not the same as if it was in person, but this is an opportunity for us to celebrate our Muslim youth from coast to coast. So a lot of our Muslims are not located in Ontario or Quebec, and this is an opportunity to celebrate them.